Hello guys, Donna Lisa with Zoodle Info here. Uh, I'm going to do videos regularly. So if you are in a renovation process and you are like me, don't have a lot of money, you're trying to make things work, or you're generally trying to get ideas, this is definitely the channel for you. I purchased the property in 2019, in December of 2019, right before the COVID pandemic. I had a little bit of, had a little money coming in. Money was coming in, and money was moving and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, okay, I purchased a house in December. Started working in the house around probably mid-January, and then maybe like a couple of weeks after that, or a month or so, or whatever. I started working. We had to shut down. So I had people who were working, who were coming. There was stuff everywhere. This property, I did not pay a lot of money for the property. There are two houses there and a detached garage. I plan on making one of the houses residential but office space. And I plan on making the garage a eatery, a very small eatery, because I was going to put a restaurant, like an event center, in the back of the second house. But I mean, listen, when you go to getting into renovation, it is not the 1 hour show that you see on some of these popular shows and then the house is ready in an hour. It doesn't work like that. I promise you, it does not work like that. It is costly. Um, these houses, they have to be gutted out. Um, because they have the up and down floors. So you've got to do uh, the roof. I've got to do that. The people who were there prior to me, they put a addition on that's horrid. You've got to tear that down. Then you got a roof, and I may post some videos. I removed all the videos of the videos and the walkthrough and stuff like that I did of the house. I may post that at another time. But then you have a roof. They rolled new roofing over rotten wood. Uh, it's just, whoever had this property, it was like, I'm gonna tear it up and I'm gonna F up the night. I just don't care. I'm just gonna like, I don't care about my investment. I'm just going to tear this property up. So it was a lot of that. It was a lot of that going on. When I looked at the property, I was just curious as to what happened here. Now, this is something that I've always known. When I walked on the property, the first house had a tree on top of it. When I say on top of it, I don't mean that the tree fell, but it's like somebody said, "Oh, that's a good place to build a house. Let me build this tree." Look, this tree grew or whatever around the house. So the lady who sold me the property, she sold the property to me for a very, very, very inexpensive fee. And I knew. And at the time she sold me the property, I didn't have any money. It was during Christmas. All my bills were paid. I just didn't have any money. So when I went to see the realtor, he told me, he said, she wants $8,000 down for the property. I didn't have $8,000. I didn't have $5,000. I didn't have $1,000. I said, but I can get you $8,000 if you wait January, which I would have given him $8,000 down. And he was like, no, nope. He could look at me and tell, she don't have any money. I'm done. I don't want to talk to her. So we'll talk about that another time. Some things transpired. The lady wouldn't sign the papers for the house. It was a lot that went on. And I got discouraged. And I'm like, look, either she wants to sell the house or she doesn't want to sell the house. And I was so desperate for this house. I was in a position where I was begging for this raggedy house that you can't live in. Like now, I'm spending money on insurance. I've got to get this. I got to keep the grass cut. I'm spending way over $1,000 a month on this property. And this is property that I cannot live in because it's going to take me time to fix it. Well, anyway, I feel that if you're in a project like this, you need to buy your stuff within your power. You need to buy it For the contractors, you need to be ahead of the curve of the renovation. Now, I don't suggest you go out and buy wood and all of that. Maybe some pieces, maybe some trim that you want. But the only thing I feel that you should be going to that hardware store for is whatever wood that the contractor tell you that they need, whatever sheetrock, whatever roofing that you have to pay for. The heat and air. I wanted to go so as far as to get that, but this guy, he's an HVAC. He knows about HVAC. He knows about plumbing, and he knows about the electrical. So I'm not going to go out and buy electrical wires that I don't know anything about, or buy plumbing parts that I don't know anything about. Some plumbing parts I will buy. Like I got this vintage. I have this vintage sink that goes in the second house, and it's a P-trap. It's an old slop sink. I've got to repair that to hang that in there. But I don't suggest you just go out and start buying housing equipment. But stuff like, the vintage furniture, I've gotten into a lot of furniture, and I wasn't planning on doing that, but I've run into stuff like what Duncan fight table that I need, a Duncan fight drum table, or I've gotten into I want the Harlequin tiles going down the hallway, so I've gotten that. I've gotten the toilets. You got to have toilets for the plumbing, so I had to go out and buy 5 toilets. I've purchased clawfoot tubs. They're not cheap. And let me tell you something, and I want you to stay with me, because we are going to bust a hole in Habitat of Humanity. I wore them out. I go to yard sale, not yard sales, but flea. I'm not a yard sale person, and I'm really not a Goodwill or thrift store person. I will go. I'm not an antique person. I'm a vintage person. We'll talk about that. But this house is a vintage rustic look. So I just want you to stick with me and stay with me and see what's going on. It's a lot. I'm going to post more. I do a lot of shopping, I've spent money out. I'm spent down to zero. So I'll have some more money coming in, and I just don't want to spend down to zero again. So what I'm trying to do is generate another 2 sources of income, because really it's going to be expensive to repair these houses, and it's all on me. There's no loans, there's no this, there's no that. All of it is on me. So I want you guys to stick with me and go through the process. Then I'll film as we're doing the renovation. I'll film as the contract. Guys, don't talk about me. Please don't talk about me. Please, 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 please. The contractor is 81 years old or 82. I'm serious. Here's the thing. He doesn't always come on time. And wait. I know people who've had a lot of problems with him. The thing is that I think they were trying to hustle him. The work that he's done for me, he's done it. But this is one thing I know, one thing for certain, and 2 things for sure. He knows how to do the work. He knows how to talk to code enforcement. He knows how to deal with digging the plumbing, the electrical. He's going to handle my plumbing, electrical, and HVAC. If I did that separately, during the time prior to all these high prices, this price gouging that we have going on now, I had a person tell me, just for, and this is on the low, just for the electrical and the plumbing, he told me he would do everything. He told me $23,000. So I don't know him. It's not about, oh, I don't want to pay $23,000. I think that's fair. I think I wanted him to do it for $15,000. But you know what? I don't know this guy. So you tell me $23,000, and then I have a problem, and then you got to pay the HVAC person something, and then you got to pay this person something. You're out of almost $60,000 to $80,000 alone just on the plumbing, heating, and air, and the electrical, dealing with jacklegs. But this guy, I know he knows how to do the work. Now, It remains to be seen if he will do the work, but I know that he knows how to do the work. So when I dove in it, I have a lot of contractors' telephone number. I got a lot of people that do this, a lot of people that do that. But when you're dealing with this type of renovation and stuff like that, I'm telling you, you got to deal with somebody you can trust. And you've got to deal with someone who has compassion. Someone who has compassion and someone who cares about the project. You got to deal with somebody like that. Because if people don't care, they'll leave trash. Let me tell you something about not caring. It was stuff everywhere. I was trying to get stuff out. I've had about maybe 5 or 6 dumpsters pulled, probably even 8. People treat your property the way you treat your property. They don't know me. They don't know the woman I purchased the property from. They don't know the story of the property. They don't know stuff was sprawled all everywhere. When this guy came and I had a lot of trees cut, I purchased 2 chainsaws and started cutting trees. I mean, it's just property riddled with trees that have not been maintained. So it was one guy. He came there and he has like a train. It's like a crew of men, like 20 to 30 men. I mean, a lot of men. They get out, they do these trees, they haul them off, and blah blah blah. Well, this man showed interest in me, like romantic interest in me. And listen, I'm all business. I don't mix business with pleasure. So he said he wanted me to go home and meet his mother. I'm an older woman. Listen, I've been there, I've dated, I've done all of that. I'm not into anything like that. Definitely not trying to get with somebody who works for me. So the guy was like, just let me take you to dinner. Let me take you to dinner. So as he was backing off the property, he was drinking a drink, and he took the drink and threw the drink in my yard. When he did that, that was such a sign of disrespect. And this was 2 years ago. And he doesn't know why to this day that I put him on block. It hurt me. You disrespect my property. But that's how people are treated. And that's why I've tried to get it graded and get everything done. And I'm still working. And it's expensive to have the grass cut. And I purchased a lot of equipment, and somebody got over into the house, and I believe it was the people that I purchased it from, because they had a lot of jacks to jack the floor up and all of that stuff. So we'll talk about that, how they were renovating the property as you see the property as we go into it. But now let's kind of bring it on back. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do an unboxing. That's what I'm here for today. But I just wanted to give you a synopsis as to what's going on and why I'm purchasing all of this stuff. No, I'm not a real estate investor. No, I'm not going to sell the property. I would have sold it a couple of times. I had somebody offer me about 4 times as much as I paid for it. Listen, I knew that this property was valuable. I knew that it is a valuable piece of property. I got a neighbor from hell on the right of me, and I've got to put privacy trees to block him out from looking. It's about 4 troublemakers to the right. They're in a townhouse, and their problem is that when you buy a townhouse, you own the townhouse, but you're adjacent and attached to other individuals. So I don't suggest anybody, I don't know, if you don't own the whole property, buying a townhouse, I can tell you it's not a good idea. Those people have hell over there and argue amongst themselves. So my property is really, there's a huge driveway and a little land that separate us. So my property is not close to their property. Those trees I had on my property would have fallen on their roof, and the trees were damaging their roof badly, and it was on my property. So I have a fence up there on the other side to kind of block them out. My property is everything behind the retainer wall, but my property sits up like on a hill. But anyway, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to work it up. I'm constantly buying stuff. Before I can get started, I've got to buy just a little bit more. I've got to get the last thing I'm going to buy are the windows. When I get the windows, then, listen to this, then we got to get the money for the renovation of the house. Ugh. Listen, this project is so expensive for me. It's not so expensive. It's expensive. It is money I really don't have. So the way I do things, the way I shop, the way I buy, um, this is just this is a way for me to get the things that I need for my project. I even put stuff in layaway. People that don't believe in layaway, I put it in layaway. I don't want any loans. I don't want to take a loan out and carry a loan. I want to own the property outright. So we'll talk about how I purchased the property, how I acquired the property. We'll get into that. But everything has to be renovated. Everything. And I will eventually have to do the retainer wall. But I need to get it to where it's decent and workable so I can get in there. And I'm praying. I've had to put a lot of people on block. I've had to put a lot of people doing a lot of talk on block. That's not helping me. And criticizing and sitting on their throne. I'm in this thing by myself. I'm not saying woe is me. I'm a female. I don't have any. I used to have male help. I don't have help. My brother has been sick as of late. So I don't have help other than people that I hire out. And then when you hire them, they don't want to do the work, but I want you to pay me. So it's bad. But anyway, stay tuned. Stay with me. We're going to get through this renovation. We're going to get started. I'm going to film everything. If you have any questions, I will know about it because I am currently going through it. This is the beginning of the process. So we'll talk about everything. But anyway, I have my God. Oh, Lord, how I trust you and believe in you. Thank you, Lord. I have my Bible. The Bible is the word. It is the spoken word, the written word. And I have my gun. Reason why I say that, just in case somebody's ass want to get out of hand, I got a gun. Okay? That's why I say I have my gun. But I do trust in God. Donna Lisa with Zula Info signing out. Until next time. I'm going to do a video after this, the unboxing.